It's happening.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Shine Insiders Live. Today, we have a very special episode with the lovely Elizabeth Ocean. Yay. Welcome, Elizabeth. So great to have you here.
Thank you, Heather. It's so good to be here. And hello to everyone who's watching. It's amazing to be in your orbit, Heather, because you're incredible.
Thank you. Yes, birds of a feather, right? I love your orbit too. And we're lucky enough to have you come out to our visibility party yesterday. So anyone who was there got a little teaser of getting to know you. And today we're going to do a little bit deeper dive into what you do and the topic of holistic business. So I'd love to just give a quick little intro to you of, who you are and what you're doing in the world. And then we'll dive in. So Elizabeth is a guide for entrepreneurial women. She trains holistic coaches, spiritual mentors, wellness leaders, and teachers to grow their impact and their income through heart-centered business training. She stands for women having thriving businesses and balanced, fulfilling lives. Now, that all sounds really awesome, rings true, a lot of what we focus on here in this community. So this is a perfect conversation for us to have today. So now when I looked at your longer bio, I was like, oh my gosh. And I've known you for a little while now, but when I saw the actual list of all the things you've launched and done over, 20, 30 years now, three decades of working in the business space. Can you tell us a little bit about some of these things that you've done before you moved into teaching holistic business?
Thanks, Heather. I love this. Like you said, I've been in business for 30 years. So I've done all the things and I've always been drawn towards spirituality and wellness and holistic healing. So I have been a healer and like 16 different modalities training, like many of you. If you also have many modalities, just type in the comments the word many right now, because you're probably like me and you have many different modalities. And I studied with some of the world's top spiritual teachers and have traveled around the world. I spent 2 years in India living on an ashram and studying there. I've been a yoga teacher, a martial arts instructor. I've owned and run a yoga studio and a wellness center. And some of the really exciting things, it's all amazing, but some of the really exciting things that really have lit me up are I published a wellness and yoga magazine and ran large scale transformational yoga and wellness events, festivals, and conferences. So those have really lit me up over the years. And from what I've done with all of those different things, I found that the women in my orbit were coming and asking me, well, how did you fill that event? How did you fill that workshop? How did you get clients to come into your programs? How did you market that thing? And I found that I ended up being a bit of a marketing expert in events and marketing. And I was helping holistic wellness practitioners and healers and teachers with that. And it just evolved naturally from 30 years of experience. And that's what I love about what I do, is that I can bring so much practical hands-on experience to the women I work with. I know what it's like to be them.
Well, that is beyond impressive. The fact that you've launched publications, events, you've been all over the globe with this work. And it sounds really like you've kind of figured out the way to have the balance between the holistic side of life, more the spiritual and holistic side, merging that with the business. And, I love that we mastermind a lot together. We work together in similar groups. And we talk a lot about using our business as a path for spiritual growth. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about kind of that evolution of realizing like, okay, this is what I can teach. And how did you, when did that start? What was the impetus to, create you have your Women's Holistic Business Academy?
Yeah, this question just gave me goosebumps head to toe, excuse me, because it's such an important path that I see so many of us creative, holistic, entrepreneurial women on. And it's a path when I was doing all the things that I was doing, the magazine and the yoga studio and the wellness center and teaching and healing and all these things, I actually was overdoing. I thought that that's what success looked like, to do all the things and never ask for help. And so I was steadily going down this path of isolation and overwhelm and overworking 7 days a week, 18 hours a day. I would just go to the studio all day and then come home and work on my computer all night. And it led me to this spiral of feeling exhausted and sick and completely alone. And that point that I reached is a point that a lot of women do reach. And I remember that point because I was feeling like I don't have what it takes to do this, to actually be an entrepreneur. And this is after like 2 decades in business. I don't have what it takes, and I should quit and go get a regular job and work for somebody else, because I also wasn't making money doing it. And I remember that point because I followed that track down in my mind. Like if I do quit, if I go and get a regular job and work for somebody else, where does that lead? And it just made my heart break that I didn't want to give up on my dreams, but I didn't at that point know how to balance, like, here are my dreams and here's my exhausted, burnt out, like just crying every single day body. And it was then that I went, there's got to be a better way. So I ended up getting support and healing myself and turning all the healing modalities that I'd learned over the years back onto me and healing this body and prioritizing. And from that, my business started to grow. I got support and found women like Heather and women's communities that are women in business going together. That makes a huge difference. And from that is how I can be standing here today as the CEO of a company, as I have an amazing team. I enjoy what I do. I stay really balanced. I work 4-hour work weeks, 5 hours a day. It's exactly where I want to be. And I'm not alone in the journey that I had. Every time I speak about it, there are so many women who went through the path of burnout. Like if you did and you're watching this, everyone, just type in the comments down below burnout. And that's why I'm on a mission that no woman should ever have to burn out to bring her healing message to the world. Like it is not okay for that to be happening still. It's 2022. We have the possibilities to help heal people, get our message to the world without going down that path. And you've probably seen this in the work that you do, Heather, because you work with women who are like sensitive stars as well.
Yeah, I think that's, what you're saying is so true about us having to kind of take our own medicine first at some point, right? Like with what we know and teach. So I love hearing your story of how that was like, yeah, you had to turn it on yourself, right? And yeah, that path of burnout, that is such a real thing. I mean, it truly is just part of the entrepreneurial journey, I think, but we all have to find our way in relationship with it. And I love how you found your balance with it in a way that really serves you and makes you able to be in a position to serve the women and the people in your community.
Totally.
The other thing you said that I really liked was that you realized you didn't have to do it alone, that you met up with other people and started, having the community. So can you talk a little bit more about that, the power of not doing it alone?
Oh, it's everything. It truly is everything. And I know that there are a lot of women in the business world who have like women fear and competition fear, like just wounds from the past. Like we don't feel 100% safe with other women because of whatever happened in our past journeys. And then when we come into doing business, there's this edge of competition and we shy away from that. And there's this edge of like, I want to be making money, but I feel guilty. So there's this push-pull relationship that we have, especially as heart-centered women in business. And it's so healing to find other women who are on the path, who are there to support and uplift each other. There's this little metaphor that I often share with the students in my programs, and it's about the crabs in the pot, where if you are trying to cook crabs, I'm a vegetarian, so I apologize, everybody. If you're trying to cook them, you can put them in a pot and you don't have to put a lid on, even though they can crawl out. Why is that? It's because as a crab tries to crawl out, one trying to crawl out, another one will reach up from the bottom and pull it back down. And I really see a lot of humanity like that. And I've seen women being like that, like, or family members, whoever it is in your world that's kind of pulling you back down. Like, don't do that. Don't be too successful. Don't be too wealthy. Don't be too known. Don't be too amazing. Don't be too whatever it is. What's your thing, everyone? Post it in the comments down below. What are people saying to you? Don't be too what it is. Wealthy, successful, happy, whatever it is. Post that in the comments down below right now. But when we stand for being with other women who are committed to uplifting, and who are positive and who are going to, when we say, I have a big dream, who are going to say, go for it. You can do it. Who are going to like reach into the pot and pull us out. It changes everything. Like we literally cannot do this alone. I know I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have people like you, Heather, and other sisters along the path supporting. So I think that that's one of the most important things that anyone can do on their path of business is get support.
Oh, I so resonate with that. And when you were saying that, I was hearing what a lot of the people that show up in this community say is to be visible is it's too arrogant, right? Or braggadocious, right? So yeah, like finding those things that are either culturally programmed or maybe your family or your friends. What you said, Elizabeth, is so powerful about don't pull each other, don't let other
Don't pull
people
each other
pull you
down.
down.
Yeah.
I love the crab analogy. I hadn't heard that one. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And the, the other piece you were talking about, just like the community. Can you tell us a little bit about like what you've created with your community?
Yes, I have a year-long training program where women go deep in community. I have a Facebook group where women go deep together. It's a public Facebook group, the Women's Holistic Business Network, and it's a place where women can feel safe to rise together. I have intimate masterminds with women where we lift each other up, and that's hugely important. And on the path of business, just like Heather, you said in the beginning, it's our path of spiritual awakening. It's our path of like put ourselves up against all this stuff, and we need each other so that we can go forward. So that's why I've created what I created 100%, because I want to do business in a way that feels fun and easeful and that never burns us out, and that also feels like we're connected with other people. So that's why I do what I do.
What's the name of your community on Facebook?
Yes, on
Anyone
Facebook,
watching
Women's
can go,
Holistic Business Network.
Women's, say it again.
Women's Holistic Business Network.
Women's Holistic Business Network. So you can just
Yes.
search that on Facebook. We'll make sure we put that in the comments here too, in the post.
Thanks, Heather.
So a question I have is, you focus a lot on holistic women and practitioners and people that are really deep into their, spiritual path. So how can a woman go from a healer to an online spiritual mentor?
Oh, I love this. There's an entire path that I'll be teaching in our upcoming trainings and so many things, but I'll give you a few tips. So how can you go from that healer, one-on-one practitioner to an online transformational mentor? Number one is get support. Like that is the absolute biggest thing. Get support with other women who are on the same path as you. That's going to change everything. Number two, keep your online stuff simple. What I mean is, and it's a mistake I see so many women making, they're like, before I really step into being a transformational mentor online, having group programs, having income, I have to have this like fancy $5,000 to $10,000 website. And they'll spend that money and then they'll come to me and say, I hate my website. I spent all this money on it. It's not even getting me clients. And I'll be like, let me show you the easy path. So keep your online stuff simple. You don't need a giant website. You need a simple opt-in page. We'll show you an example of one here, actually. So you need a simple opt-in page and an email list and some kind of social media presence. That's it. You don't need to have social media on all 10, 12, 100 social media platforms. You don't need a big fancy website. You don't need a big Instagram following to be a successful online transformational force for incredibleness on the planet. All you need is your people and your group. So my third tip for you is to start local. Start with the people you already know. Oftentimes when we look at, I want to be an online mentor, I want to work in this space, I want to lead groups, we go, I need to be leading 1,000 people because that's what the successful people are doing. But if we come back and go, how many people do I actually need in order to be successful, have a steady income? It's usually somewhere between 10 and 30 clients. Like it's not that many. So start simple, keep your online stuff basic, and get support. Those are my 3 hot tips for you.
Oh, fantastic. I love all of those. So you heard it here first from Elizabeth, right? Get support, get into that community, Keep it simple. I love that one. And start local. Those are fantastic tips on how to actually do what you're doing. I mean, truly, you're the walking embodiment of this and leading by example. And so much of what we do is around visibility in my community. And I saw that you were doing something really interesting, which was a speaking tour. Are you still doing that? Can you tell us more
Yes,
about
this
how
is
that's
part of my
going?
speaking tour. So
Part of it.
I put a silly little thing out, which was fun. Let me see if I can find it while I tell you about it. But I decided, we can't be speaking all over the world right now because of travel restrictions are still happening. And just the world has been a really intense place for these past few years, and people are not wanting to travel as much. But online speaking is where we can really reach a lot of people and do a lot of good in the world. So I decided, here it is, I decided to put myself on a speaking tour because I've done speaking tours before. I've spoken on stages with a lot of amazing people, including Danielle Laporte, who founded the Desire Map, and all sorts of other incredible high-level leaders. And I miss that. I miss being able to go to events and speak on incredible stages. And so I was like, what if I just put myself on my own speaking tour? And wherever I speak, wherever I'm interviewed, I'm just recording that. And I started this cute thing. I'm like, I'll make a t-shirt. I wrote it down.
Oh, yes, that's right. I love it. Oh, good. Now you can add Santa Monica to your
So
list.
I'm adding today.
Or Los Angeles, whichever one.
Maybe I'll add Los Angeles, because if you're not from California like us, well, I'm from Canada originally, but anyway, I'm in California, then some people wouldn't know. So today, thanks to Heather, I'm adding Los Angeles. And you can all do this too. It's really cute.
I love it. And this is going to become you're going to actually print up t-shirts when you're done.
I don't know. I probably will. I'll print myself one.
At least
if
one.
Anybody
Yeah,
wants
you have
one.
to have at least one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh my gosh. And then, for your own visibility journey, can you talk a little bit about how being visible, having a strong online presence, how that has helped you in your business?
It's changed everything. I remember when I was scared to make videos. I actually remember way back when I was scared to turn a computer on. So if you sometimes feel overwhelmed by tech, everyone, don't worry about it. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But I also remember when I was like seeing other people online, put their pictures up and their videos and they're reaching people. And I'm like, ooh, that looks like it called me, but I was afraid of it. So I tried. I was like, maybe I'll make a video. And I did like 30 takes of this video. It was so stressful because I would make it, watch it and be like, oh, that's not good, because I'm a perfectionist. Any other perfectionist, put the word perfectionist in the comments down below right now. And I just like delete. And it got so stressful that I walked away from that project. I mean, didn't go back to it. And then I tried again, like a year or two later, and I interviewed somebody. And I interviewed, it was great. It felt great. But then I looked at the video afterwards and I was so ashamed I can't even remember really what it was at that point. If I look back on it now, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so sweet. But if I looked back on the video and judged myself, I went, I didn't sound good enough. I didn't look good enough. My light wasn't good enough. And rather than putting that incredible video out into the world, I trashed it. And looking back on that, it just held me back for a few years where I was like, I'm not good enough. And I just felt judged by myself so much. And if any of the rest of you watching this have that, please post in the comments. Heather and I want to hear from you that we're not alone and you're not alone. If you ever have those thoughts come up, like don't look good enough, don't sound good enough, don't know what to say. And eventually I just kept having this nudge, like, get on video, help people, get your message out there. And it was when I had the realization that, oh, my videos aren't about me. They're about the people who need to hear my message. And it doesn't actually matter what I sound like, any of it, as long as I just get out there. And it was when I discovered live video, especially because there's no going back, like just Facebook Live, like we're live right now. And so if I mess up what I'm saying or forget what I'm doing or whatever, or like something happens, it doesn't matter. Like we'll just roll with it. And I think that people like that better. That's what I'm noticing, is that it's real, it's normal, it's natural, and it feels like people are part of our conversation. So I kind of went on a side tangent because I'm so passionate about this particular piece, is that even if you feel scared, even if you judge yourself, even if you're worried about other people judging you, that you can get out there and make videos for the purpose of helping other people heal and transform their lives. And that changes everything.
So beautiful. That is a big mindset shift we often talk about in our community as well, is like that's going into the mindset of service, that it's not about you, it's about the people looking for you that need what you have. Such a beautiful way of explaining it, Elizabeth. And when you think about and talk about having a sacred business, can you tell us what that means to you?
Oh, so beautiful. A sacred business to me means one that is first aligned with your own heart and your own values. One that you feel like you are being of service in the world to give. And that's what makes it sacred. It's a sacred offering to the world, because it can be scary and vulnerable to put yourself out there. But if you consider it as a sacred offering, there's nothing ever wrong with a sacred offering. It can't be imperfect. It just is perfect. And there's such a sacredness when we can hold consciousness in our own hearts and souls, that whatever we're moving through as women in business and as people getting out there in the world, there is a sacred journey for us there. I'm not who I was 10 years ago. I mean, I'm the same person, but I've been transformed by getting my business online and by reaching bigger audiences and by getting more visible, like you teach, Heather. I've been deeply transformed, and it is a sacred journey.
So powerful. Yeah, it is. It's like always coming up against that edge, and that's where we grow and, become a bigger, brighter version of ourselves, our true selves. I always tell the story of I wasn't going to have my photos on my website when I moved into the online business space, and I wasn't going to do video. Well, here we are doing live video and it's a few years later, and it is that first time is the hardest. If you are an introvert or this stuff does scare you, don't worry. We all go through that as humans. It's very rare, I think, that people don't have that issue of putting themselves out there in a bigger way, especially with public speaking. It's one of the top things people are fearful of in the world. So just knowing that is part of your humanity, and that as you keep coming up against those edges, that's where we can stretch and grow and move through them. And by taking the action and doing the things, right, that's what takes us to that next chapter in our journey.
Oh, that is so deeply true. I love that.
I love it. So what else do you have to share with us today? Is there anything else you want to share? I know you have a gift.
Yes. Well, I love what you just said. And I think before I share my gift, I'll let everybody know that what you just said, Heather, about that is, if you're having those fears come up, like that normal thing of we all have the fears come up, it just shows that you care, which is really important. So it shows that you care. And if you care and you're ready to just start to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident, and have some tools that are going to help you to feel better on video and to reach people who are your potential clients, that's what my free gift is all about. So do we have the link, Heather?
Yes, it should be in the post for everyone. So
perfect. Oh, link is in the post then. So I have this incredible gift for you, and it is a guide for you to get on video. So it's a powerful guide that will help you to stand out online, to get on video. It's called Video Engagement Secrets. So one of the things that I love to do online is actually connect authentically with the people who are potential clients. And then that has them filling your list and filling your following with people who are going to be ready to invest and work with you because they feel a connection. Video is the number one way that we can connect with people right now, especially those of you who have holistic, spiritual wellness hearts. Video is really incredible because it can show who you really are, and it can be an act of service because you can teach people something, you can connect with their hearts, you can give them some inspiration. So this gift is amazing. It's called Video Engagement Secrets, and it's going to give you 12 specific secrets that I've worked on over the last few decades in business, and especially over the last 10 years since getting my business online and in video, that are going to help you all. So you can grab that by clicking the link, stick your name and email address in, and you'll get access to that immediately as soon as you put your name and email address in.
Oh, so wonderful. What a great thing to be sharing in this day and age. It's like, they used to always say what a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I think video, I don't know if I'm throwing out statistics that are accurate or not, but I've heard things around like 60,000 times more powerful or whatever it
right?
is.
A picture's worth 1,000 words. Let's say a video is worth $1 million, because
Right.
you can have a multiple six-figure company business on coaching based on video. It's really, really, it's a beautiful opportunity and an incredible time that we're all in right now. And I know that the world is going through so much upheaval and transformation. And that's why we need women like all of you who have that idea that you want to help transform and change the world and help people. We need you to get online video. So I feel comfortable doing it. So grab that gift. Video Engagement Secrets is going to help you, and keep connecting with Heather and I. Like, we want to help you to feel really comfortable.
Yeah, feel free to, if you're watching this in the community, go ahead, comment in the post. If you're watching on replay, just write hashtag replay, tag myself and Elizabeth, and let us know any of the answers or thoughts around what we're talking about today. And we'll come back and we'll check those comments and say hello. So Elizabeth, this has been so great to just touch in and spend a little more time with you today. I really appreciate you, your spirit, your energy, your wisdom, and sharing that with our community. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, Heather. You're incredible. The community that you lead online is powerful, and you bringing me into your community in your world, I'm so grateful, and I hope that this serves your people.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad that we are making it on the t-shirt.
You made it on the t-shirt, everybody. Right there.
I love it. All right, my dear. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Have a beautiful day. Sending lots of love. And thank you, Elizabeth. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Heather. Bye, everybody.
Bye.